Hello YouTube, this is Mr. Dave here. I'm just going to do a quick profile on my Madolches. I won at the sneak peek for Lord Attack and Galaxy and constructed. So I'll just run through it. It's almost like Alexander's that topped, but there's a couple differences. So I'll just start with the monsters. So 2 Thunder Kings, really solid. You need the actual monsters you can remove for Hoot Cake. And it's probably one of the better ones. Like, it works versus everything, instead of like Kaiku only works versus the top 2. But if you're playing like gadgets or something, it's helped me a lot there. So I think you have to play it, and it's really good in the mirror match. And the Madolches seem to be getting more popular. So if you summon the Thunder King, like first turn, second turn, you're pretty much winning. And it plays so many traps. It's so good because with the traps against the Dragon Rulers, if you have a Thunder King, it'll just win you the game because they have to go off. And then once they gotta, I mean, unless they have the 2 sets of babies, which they usually don't, even if they have 2 sets of babies in order to make a Dragon Ruler, you should have the back row to protect it. And then unless they have Super Reju, they're going to be out. So they're going to have to start moving stuff, and then they run out of resources. So even if they get rid of Thunder King, they run out of resources so fast that if you can keep the pressure on, you'll be fine. So the traps plus Thunder King it's so good. So 3 Madolche, everyone runs them. I won't go over the effects. Just assume you guys already know that. Hoot Cake 3. I played 2 at a point, but you can cut other monsters. I ended up cutting the cats like he does, and Hoot Cake is just better. So you have to run 3. Messenger Lotto. This is something that I only run 2 now. I was running the OTK build starting out, and I was following like D-Silence. If you saw him playing, like, he played Thomas's build and he complained about not having 3 Messenger Lottos. 3, you can always do the combo. If you're playing like the OTK, you can always do the combo with 3. But when you're playing the slow build without as many monsters, then you don't even need the 3. The only issue becomes if you draw into a Messenger Lotto, then you have it in hand. And then you have to just be aware you have it in hand, so you only have 1. Otherwise, as long as you remove Messenger Lotto, if you have 2, just remove the one in the graveyard with the Hoot Cake, and then you can just go Leviair and get it back. So you never run out. The only time that you have an issue is when you have 1 in your hand. And then it sucks, but usually you can just get around it by just don't bring this out. You'll miss the search. You just bring a Madolche out, and then go into the Invoker, and then bring out the second, whatever they call this, the Warrior out, Messenger Lotto. So you miss a search, but you'll never miss a Tiramisu. And the 2, you don't want to draw these guys. If you draw them, I mean, it sucks. It's not as bad as drawing a pudding cess, but you don't want to draw them. That's why playing 2 seems a lot better. The less you see these guys, the better off you are. I'd rather have a trap than these guys. And then only play 1 cat. This is probably the biggest change to the deck. Ever since when you switch away from the OTK, you realize you only need to do it once. You only need to do it once. So you just set your combo pieces up, and you 1-for-1 with your traps, and you only play 1 cat. So just try it out. I didn't believe it until I tried it, and then once you start playing it, you'll realize how much better it is. It's hard to convince other Madolche players that are playing the OTK build, because that's what you think is, you want to OTK or you want to do the combo, you need the cat to do anything. And it's partly true, but you only need 1. It's so searchable with the ticket, the Chateau, the 3 Madolines. With the Veilers going around, the problem with the cat is all the hand traps, it's like easily variable, it's easily max-seeable, and if they max-see your cat, then you get screwed, because then you have to special, unless you have a warrior in your hand. So, yeah, only 1 cat. Try it out. If you haven't tried it, just try it. Then 1 pudding cess. This is questionable, but it's so versatile, and it gives you the option in the hand traps. That's the only reason why I like it. If they max-see you when you go cat, if you have this in your hand, you're fine. Usually, if you have the field spell or the ticket, if you feel like they have a hand trap, if they're playing like dragons or something, if you don't need to go out, just summon the Hoot Cake and activate the effect. If they max see you, you can just bring this out, or you can bring the warrior out, and then they'll only draw 1 card. And if you bring the warrior out, then you're 1 for winning, or I guess you're plus winning because you get the search. So be careful with the cat. If you use the Hoot Cake, then this gives you the alternative. So because if they have a field, if they go Dragon Sack first turn, and you go cat into Hoot Cake, and they max you, you have to go. You don't have a choice, and then you're going to lose. If you don't go, then you're going to lose anyways. If you play Pudding Cess and you just go Hoot Cake, activate effect, they max you. You just go pudding cess, kill with tokens, and pop the Drago sack. So I think it's necessary, even though I sided it. Once you go into game 2, I sided out. I don't know if that's the right choice, but I side heavily for the dragon matchup, and I need cards to take out. And pudding cess is one of those cards. If you draw it, I lose, and I was drawing it a lot because it's ulti, maybe. I don't know, that's what they say. So, one pudding cess, I was siding it out. If you have better things to side in, I'd side that out and the Palooza together. And then the hand traps, I play 3 Veiler and 2 Mexi. 3 Veiler, 2 Mexi. You can go either way. The Maxis are never dead. I don't like going... theoretically, the Maxis are never bad because first turn you can hook them away. But I always like to hold them anyways. So I don't think I could ever make myself do that. If I was playing triple Maxi and I opened it up like double Maxi and a hook, I don't think I could ever make myself discard a Maxi to activate a hook effect just to get the search and set a field up for my opponent's turn. I don't think I could ever do that. So that's why I like the Veiler better. And it's better versus Prophecies, which is the deck this has a problem with. Dragon Rulers, it just wins. If you play smart, you have to play very smart. Onto spells, play 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Book of Moon. I play the heavy. You'll see Thomas ran a MST. You have a lot of traps, but I still think heavy is worth it. So 1 Book of Moon, and then the only thing that you can play around with these, but I play the 2 ticket, 2 Chateau, 2 ticket, 1 Chateau. I was playing 2 Chateau, 1 ticket, and that was working just as well. You're playing such a low monster count. It's very common to draw into the one monster, and if you draw into like a warrior or you draw into a cat, that field spell wouldn't help you. And the ticket will get you the Madolche search. So the ticket is arguably maybe better, but if the format slows down, or if like Thunder King comes back to 3, then I really think the Chateau might be the way to go, because that's the one thing. Chateau is your only out to a Thunder King, essentially. Besides like a cat into a pudding cess or something. Because you can't search the field spell with the Hoot Cake, and all your monsters are lower except for pudding cess. So the field spell lets you kill the Thunder King, so without that, the deck dies. You have the traps to deal with it, but it can be a problem sometimes. Onto the traps, there's a lot of them. Triple Compulse is arguably the most played trap of the format. You have to play it. It's really good with Ticket, so if you summon a Madolche, it's happened multiple times, if you summon Madolche and they Veiler you, I don't know if I would just activate Compulse if you don't have the Ticket, but if you have the Ticket, I would just Compulse it. Compulse it, get the search off the Madolche, and get the search off the Ticket. If you have the other traps to back it up, it works wonders. Throw. So 3 of those, 2 Torrential. You'll see Thomas didn't play as many traps as I do. He played like lances and stuff. But I think the traps are the way to go. Torrentials set your Hoot Cakes up, and they clear the field. With the Dark Bribes that we also play, that means we can be very aggressive with our setting. So we can choose the most optimal trap. That's one reason why you can play all these traps, and it works out better than 1-for-1-ing, because you get to be careful with what you pick. 2 Bottomless, obvious. 2 Mirror Force, I was only playing 1 at one point, then I bumped it up to 2 just because of the problems in dealing with monsters sometimes. If they get a field, like monsters that shut you down, Thunder King, anything else like that, Mirror Force solves the problem, and this deck has a problem getting going in the early game, and Mirror Force is very strong pretty much all game, mid-game, late game. It's very good. Dark Bribe, probably one of the best traps in the deck. It saved me a lot, and the +1 that they get, it actually doesn't matter. As long as you can keep your lockup on your field, then you're fine. So as long as you keep the field spell or the ticket, then it doesn't matter that they're drawing a card, because they can't get your monsters to go to the grave away from you. And then it lets you push through. When you finally do have the combo, you just push through and you're good. Solemn Brigade, obvious. 2 cards you can play with. I'm playing 2 Scrap Iron. I've been messing around with these. I took them out. I put on like instant fusions. You can do anything you want. They just let you stall. This deck can't have a problem getting going, and they can stall. MST, I would only play these because nobody's playing MST. A lot of people aren't playing MST game 1. So game 1, when you need the flexibility, it can stall for you until you're able to get to the ticket. It lets you set your hand up. 2 Iron Walls. This deck murders your scrub decks that people play. The Iron Walls don't matter. Just don't activate them. If you have to activate them, only activate them if you have to, because then it's going to shut your hoot cakes down. You can still do a combo, but you're going to have a monster already on the field, and you'll have to have a cat into a hoot cake. So it makes it a lot harder to combo. You can't get your search off hoot cake. So it's rough, but you have to play them because it's an auto win versus Prophecy. It's auto win versus Dragons with the other back row that you play. So I've won games because of this, and it really doesn't hurt me. I don't lose games very often because of it. Like, you have so many other traps and you play the Dark Bribes, you can basically do better than a 1-for-1. Because I play Pudding Cess, I play the Palooza. If I side the Pudding Cess out, I side out the Palooza. Because we don't play that many monsters. They can clog up, but if they're clogging, you're probably winning because your field spell's been on the field so long. Because we play such a high trap count, it's usually not a problem. But when I draw that Pudding Cess, I need the out. Because that would mean I'd have to tribute a monster in order to get it back into the deck, and sometimes I just need it to get back in the deck. So if you side Pudding Cess out, side out the Palooza as well, that's what I'd recommend. With the high trap count that we're running, I would rather have a different card usually. Yeah. And then the offering. I think I'm playing 41 cards right now because I can't figure out what to take out. I tried the 1 ticket, 1 chateau to keep the offering in, and that wasn't working, and I was trying a couple other things, and none of them were working. So I went back to this build, and I wanted to play the Pudding Cess just because of the hand traps. So then I wasn't playing the Palooza, but then I was drawing the Pudding Cess. I drew Pudding Cess like 5 games in a row. Like, it was just unbelievable. So then I just put it in as my 41st card. I know it's like, 41, but yeah. Extra deck, Catastor, Levier, Acid Golem. Acid Golem is important. Lets you get out sometimes. Tempo, you can play with this. You don't have to play it. 1 Invoker, you only play 1. I've only ever needed 1. If you're playing the OTK build, I think you have to run 2. But we only explode once. Probably near the end of the game when you're sealing the game. So I haven't ever needed 2 ever since I stopped playing like instant fusions and stuff. So 1 Zen mains, I could change this. I gotta look and see if there's other Earths that I can play under Gozen match. But Zen mains doesn't really do anything right now. Shockmaster, again, I hardly ever get it off. I never get it off. I could get it off when I was playing the instant fusions, but I took them out, and now it's hard. It's just hard to get to it, but I have to play it in case you play like a chain burn or something. I was playing chain burn the other day. I didn't get it because he lava golemed me, but I had the option. I was going to be able to go into it because Madolche is just. I mean, it takes 3 turns, but you will be able to get there, and you can get there faster with hoot cake and other stuff. 1 black ship. I've lost games because I didn't have it in. Because you're tempted to if you're playing instant fusions and stuff. I took it out because why do you need to send stuff to the grave when you have tiramisu? And that's probably right. If you're playing OTK, I would don't know that you have space for black ship. That's probably one of the things I'd take out. Gemini Pearl gets over stuff. You don't really need to block it. I mean, you have so many things. Sometimes I wish versus Prophecy. If you have Utopia, and if this was Utopia, you can win games because if you have their face locked down, if you're just blocking the attacks, they can't do anything. They cannot kill you. So sometimes I wish I was Utopia, but the 26 is so good versus Ophion. Sometimes you just need it. Diamond Dyer, very good. I would never take this out. People are citing Decrees, kills you. Diamond Dyer is one of the ways to get out. Cowboy, this is another card I would take out if you are playing OTK. Maestroke, obvious. Dweller, obvious. I'm only playing 2 Tiramisu. You will go into it twice. You will probably not going into it more. I've had games I've lost because I have only had 2, but that was when I was playing OTK. Side deck, playing triple. I side very hard for Prophecy and Dragons. That's why I have a Prophecy deck. I was playing it, but then I just got bored. I mean, it's so boring to play. So I know what the deck does. So goes in match. This is for Dragons. Play 3. Along with the 2 main decked Iron Walls, we are very solid. For the Prophecy matchup, playing DNA Surgery, the new hotness card is nuts. Shuts everything off. I'm not going to. You can think about it if you want, but it shuts everything off. They can't do anything. Most important thing is they can't fate you. That's all that actually matters. The Star Halls turn off. That is somewhat important, but basically they can't do anything. Just bait the fate out. Flip this. It also works with your ticket. So if you call fairies, if you have 2, ideally you go Hoot Cake, Special Summon, Messenger Lotto, search the ticket. standby phase on their turn or something. Whenever they just bait out the fate, then flip this, then you'll get the ticket special summoning. The only thing you gotta be careful with is if you try to hoot cake to search with Messenger Gelato, there'll be fairies instead of beast war or beasts, so you won't get the search. So it's just something to think about. You could maybe want to just call them all beasts. I don't know, but if you have a ticket on the field, I'd probably go fairies just so you can keep specialing. One Iron Wall, the last one, third one, for both prophecy and dragons. And there's some other weird stuff like lolls. I was citing it. Yeah. One Max C, also for the dragons because we main deck 2. This is the third one. And then these are the 7. Hand Traps is 5. And then the Imperial Iron Walls is 2. So there's 7 cards. If you're playing against decks that aren't, they don't explode. You don't need them. So these are the 7 that I side in. If you side out the Hand Traps and Imperial Iron Walls, this is what makes the deck like a solid Madolche that can grind. So I side all those out. This is like heroes or something, I would side them out. So like 2 MSTs, I've been having to side these versus like sometimes Dragon Rulers. You don't know what they're siding. Increasingly they're siding like Royal Decrees. Once people figure out Madolches are hot, then they'll start siding Rivalries, and that kills you. There's literally nothing you can do. So there you go. 2 Fiendish Chain. I need to bump the MSTs up to 3 because people are starting to get annoyed with me in my locals. So once they figure out what's happening, I have to be playing 3 or I'm going to start losing a lot to their side deck. So I have to counter side or I'll lose. 1 Chateau. Anything that plays a field spell, or you need to grind. If I've been playing against heroes, I lose versus heroes. Like main deck. I don't know why it happens. It's just they are able to this is the Spark build. This isn't the OTK. But they're able to just Spark or Super Poly away your important piece. And then it's just been dying. I don't know why it happens. Theoretically, I should still win with my Ribes and stuff, but it just happens. So I sided in with the field spell, 1 Marmaid. It's solid versus heroes mainly. I need help in the hero matchup. If it ever picks up and other random stuff that plays field spells, it lets me get them back. So I love going first turn field spell, first turn Marmaid. So 2500 defense. If they destroy the field spell, I get it back. 1 Kaiku goes in with the Dragon Rulers and Prophecy. And I'll side it in for everything else when I take it out, because I need the extra food for Hoot Cake. So that's basically it. That is the deck. What do I side in? So I side in those 7. I side in the 7 random stuff for all the scrub decks that aren't whatever. What do I side out? So for the Dragon Rulers, what I'll side out is what I sided out today. I sided out a Palooza. I left the Scrap Irons in. Theoretically, when you lock them down, they only can attack you. So if you can keep like a Kaiku or a Thunder King on the board, the Scrap Irons are there to take the attacks. So I left the Scrap Irons in. I think the theory's solid, but I didn't draw them. What else did I take out? You're welcome to take out a ticket. I think I took out a ticket. You don't have time to be cycling through. You either stop them or you don't. So that's why I'm taking the pudding cess out. You either stop them or you don't, and you don't have time to try and draw into your stuff. So I sided out a ticket. Heavy Storm, I sided that out. He was siding other stuff I didn't know at the time. I still won, but the Heavy Storm came out because I was siding in more stuff. I sided out all 3 Veilers. All 3 Veilers, you do not need them. If you keep them in, you will lose because you're siding in super heavy. They won't get Draco Saga off. If they do, you can compulse it. If you play the amount of stuff, the hate, the traps, the Veilers will clog you. You won't be able to do anything. I sided out the Pudding Cess along with the Palooza. And that was it. I think it's 8 or 9. I think it's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There was another card. Feel free to take your own pick of whatever you want to side out. I don't know what I sided out. I just choose something at random. I think I sided the book out. That's what I did. So you're welcome to do that. He was siding Decrees. I'll probably keep the book in next time because they seem to side Decrees, and once people know, they'll probably side Decrees more. For the Prophecy matchup, I side out the Maxis. I side out depending on the scrap. I will probably side the Scrap Irons out. And I will also side out the Pudding Cess. You're not going to get to special it probably. They're going to go jogging if they know what the heck you're doing. So I'd side the Pudding Cess out, and along with the Pudding Cess, I'll side the Palooza out. They're going to go jogging every time. If they don't, you should be fine. So there you go. Try it out. It wins games versus the top two, and it can grind and should win versus anything else. Yeah, that's it. I'm working on Phantom Beasts right now. If you guys have any tips for Phantom Beasts on how to get them going, that'd be great. I've been trying some stuff. I can show you really quick what I was trying, and I couldn't get it to... I can't even switch my camera around. I'll give you a quick view here. I couldn't get my... It basically seems like when you're... let me see if I can get this. Sorry. This is kind of what I'm playing around with. So, it seems like you basically have to survive a battle phase. You have to set your stuff, get your tokens going, and you have to survive a battle phase, and then you can make a Draco Sack next turn, which is problematic. I don't know how to get around it. Once you get going, though, with the, whatever they call them, aerial something or other barrages, it's like unbelievable. They will not win. It's like impossible. Once you get the win condition, if you don't know, is basically having a Mega Raptor on the field with a aerial barrage. So just try it out, play it. You'll see what happens. It's insane. So try it out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.